This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
It's Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast. It's Monday. It's August 29th. Where the hell did the summer go to? I got no idea. How'd we get here?
I know, right? It's the last week of August. What the heck?
I have not swung a golf club since the day after Father's Day.
You were going to go every week.
I was going to go so often. And it's over.
The best of intentions, right?
Yeah.
We talked about that this morning. How the kids are out of school, so you sit down. And I did it too. I sat down. Okay, guys, what are we going to do this summer?
Right.
We know we have, because we went on our vacation, we know we have that. But what else do you want to do? And I wasn't thinking extravagant. I wasn't thinking about it being a big deal. It was just a case of, hey,
right,
let's make sure we get to the skate park. Let's make sure we go have an ice cream. Let's make sure we go to all these little things. And I just happened to glance at the fridge over the weekend at this list. And I think we have 2 things checked off. And it's like, wow.
From how many?
What has happened? Maybe 8 or 10.
Okay.
But again, like just little things, just to really to push us out the door, to make sure we get out and enjoy some of what's in our own backyard. But we've done a lot, but this list remains unmarked.
So the list we talked about this morning were 10 things to do in the final week before school begins.
Now, was it actually labeled as final week?
Yeah, because I typed in things to do the last week before school, and up came an article, 10 things to make sure that you've done this summer, and if you haven't, do them in the last week before you go to school.
Seems a lot like to fit into a week.
I know, but especially if you haven't done any of them, then that's just craziness. But if you've got a couple left over, for example, it's one last camping trip.
Doesn't your backyard count?
Sure, it could.
Okay.
But one more, like squeeze in one more, even if because it's impossible to get sites. But we have such great provincial and private campgrounds around here. So one more. Go boating, whether that's in a kayak or going canoeing. Like just get out on the water.
Exactly. I liked how you described it. Just be on the water. Yeah. Get out and be on the water.
There's no excuse if you love it around the Quinte region to not get in the water and get on it. I mean,
there's so many places.
Enjoy your local park. Mm-hmm. And I do that because, as everybody knows, I'm a street walker. And if I want to be safe, because there's no sidewalks in my neighborhood, there is a park, and I go and I walk around the outfield of the baseball diamond in a circle like a stray dog.
How many times?
Exactly. I don't know. It's 550 steps around the perimeter of the ball diamond.
I'm just picturing you just walking around.
I am. I do that.
Okay.
And my flip-flops, and I got my soft rock hits in the 80s on my headphones.
Okay, you shouldn't walk in your flip-flops. You should have proper footwear if you're going to walk.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyway,
I know, Charity.
Side note, go.
Anyway, I love my local park. And if I want a few more steps, I go over to the basketball court, and then I zip out to the road and take my life in my hands.
Put your running shoes on next time you go.
Maybe I'll think about it. Hike a new trail. That's something to try.
That can be very enjoyable.
Find a local swimming hole.
Yeah. Again, so many in this area.
Do you swim in the back channel?
Not where we are. No.
Okay.
You have to, no.
There's no swimming there?
No.
Not safe
at all?
Out
in the bay.
Right.
It's not that that's safe. It's gross.
Oh, it's gross.
It's just not where you want to swim.
You'll skate there in the wintertime.
Exactly. You will never get rid of that smell. No.
Not in the back channel.
No, but out in the bay, absolutely.
GTK, good to know.
Yes.
Take a road trip? Yeah. You did that in spades.
Yes.
Head to the beach?
Yeah.
Yep. Go rock climbing. Not for everybody.
No, but now you don't necessarily have to go to the Eagle's Nest in Bancroft. There are indoor places that you can take the kids and go for an afternoon. And that was actually on our list. I don't think we're going to make it before school starts.
If you want a project with the kids, plant a tree. Which I thought was really interesting.
I do like that.
Because I say trees like maples and sycamores and pines and crab apples do really well when planted around this time of the year. I always think spring.
Yeah.
But no, late summer is a good time to plant those trees. They will fare well. So plant some trees, and then it becomes sort of an end of summer, beginning of school kind of thing. And then finally be a tourist in your own town. If you never had a chance to go out and check out that restaurant or
Yes.
Go out for ice cream, or, we talk about Pieces Board Game Cafe. They've got their scavenger hunt going on.
It's a great way to explore and get to know your...
Yeah.
And there's so many, and I reference Campbellford because that's where we are, and you hear about the cheese and the chocolate and the beer and the toonie, and there's so many things, and that's immediately what I thought of. When was the last time I went and saw the toonie? I drive by it all the time. Yeah. But when did I stop and actually go and take it in?
And I think human nature, when we think about, well, I've done everything in my town. No, you've done everything you like to do in your town.
Actually
step
stop
outside and say, what do other people talk about when they come to Belleville, Prince Edward County, Trent, and then go do that. Not that you're not interested in it. You didn't realize you'd be interested in it till you went. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. I'd never done that before.
Well,
so there's so much going on.
How far and how long to see other parts of other towns? Yeah, just look in your own backyard at the beauty around you.
So we talked about that this morning. So enjoy that last week, because 1 week today is Labor Day. 1 week tomorrow is the first day of school. We'll have Director of Education Catherine McIver on the show and a podcast later on this week. As you pointed out, not since September of 2019 has there been, for the most part, a first day of school that didn't have loads of question marks.
Exactly.
And there still will be this year.
But it did occur to me, I did have that feeling of, it's just excitement this year. It's not
trepidation.
There isn't trepidation. There isn't
confusion.
Worry. There isn't confusion. There isn't the unknown. What's going to happen when they go back? Do they need their masks? Do they need hand sanitizer? Is it going to be a full year? Because I believe high schools now are back to their semestered year. So they're 4 classes a day, broken down into 2 semesters, as opposed to the 4 semesters we were like.
So if you're in grade 11, you haven't even had a normal high school class yet, because
routine or schedule. Yeah.
You were in, you heard this from your older siblings. What's this, 4 classes a day?
That's crazy.
You only have this year, next year, and then you're done.
Oh, I couldn't do more than 2.
So I feel badly for you.
And the same for even post-secondary students, because as you pointed out, UHaul's on the road this week. Oh. It's not just the younger kids heading back to school, of course, older kids. And for some, and yes, to a degree, even last year perhaps, but for them, it's kind of the first, there's going to be some who are heading into their second, maybe even third year, who have never stepped foot on a campus, who've never had that on-campus experience, not just in class, but off. Out of class, just being there and being able to mingle and socialize. So it's kind of getting back to that. So it is very exciting.
Loyalist has orientation going on this week, and then classes begin in earnest next week. And I know that because Kathleen Rankin, who was my co-host for many years here on the station, and she just won $77,777 in a scratch-off lottery ticket. And we wanted to get her on the air, but it didn't work out. But I've since heard from her, and because she teaches at Loyalist and all that's going on there. So we bought a lottery ticket this morning because, as you said, there's just something about when you hear somebody wins that make you think that if I go buy the exact same ticket at the exact same store, clearly I will win too. Yeah,
and that's the thinking, right? That's why they tell you what store it's from. And that's why they make such a big deal about what ticket it was. So you went out and you did buy this same ticket. Was it from the same location she bought hers?
No, different location. I went to friends here in Belleville up at Sydney and Bridge. And so I mentioned it. And you know what was funny is I mentioned that there was a winner of $77,000. She said yes, and she pointed to it. So I wonder if you're a retailer, whether, word goes out, or, you read it on inquinty.ca. It's like, well, I better have a lot of those ready because people are going to want to come in and buy them. Somehow
it seems like it's increased your chances of winning if someone else has won, I think. In our minds, we think, okay, they've won, now I can. And yes, I'm sure as soon as retailers hear that, they're like, okay, we're going to have a run on these now. Because another woman we both know here in town won about a year ago or so now. It wasn't
Lightning Lotto.
Yeah. And we went and did the same thing.
And I think she bought that at the Husky gas station at Pinnacle and College.
Yeah, Front and College.
Front and College. Yeah.
Just walked in by it. But you hear those stories and you think, it could happen to me. So now I got to go do it.
And I've always believed that winning comes in threes. So there's 2 broadcasters that I know in town who won. Clearly, we
Is
could
Sue
be
a
the third.
broadcaster? She worked in the industry. we'll say.
Sure,
Okay, she worked in the industry.
She was
All
in
right.
sales. She was on the smart side of the.
Exactly.
She made money. That was a smart one. So we bought a Lucky Diamond 7. I believe that
Which
was
is what
tickets
Kathleen
won.
bought.
That's right.
Yeah.
$5. And we scratched it on the air and won Bupkis.
So do I owe you $250 now? Because you said if you won, you'd
We'd
share
split.
it with
Of course
me.
we would. No, we
Well,
would
I
split.
wouldn't expect you to split it with
Sure.
me.
Oh, yeah. So I win $77,000 on the air and I don't give any to you.
You can give me the $772.
What a good bit. Yeah. What a fun bit that was.
That is
Wah,
very nice to
wah,
say, Mark, but
wah.
when it happens, I would give you the room to take it back.
We've talked about that, though, when we've had,
Well,
like when
I
it's
think-
gotten up to 70 million, I bought a ticket and said if we split. Because what would I do with it? I know I keep
Well, there
I keep
again, you
harping
hear
about
these
that.
stories, and human nature, you can't help but stop and think, okay, what would I do if I did win it?
Mm-hmm.
How would I use it? How would I spend it? Would I use it for good, or would I use it for bad?
I've heard a story. I don't know why I know this. I think it's down in Windsor, and it's going on. It's a court case, and I'm going to make up numbers now because it's not important. But there was, I think, 18 people in a group lottery.
Okay.
And with layoffs and COVID, some people either didn't work for the company, but one guy didn't work for the company anymore, but he wanted to stay in the lottery pool. And because I don't see him all the time, he was often becoming delinquent, and he would pay
With his
up, but he would
payments.
fall behind.
Yeah.
And I think at one point they said, "Look, if you don't pay up," and he's like, "Okay, I'll tell you what," and he dropped off a pizza or whatever and paid, but it was late. I can't remember what. Anyway, they won big. They won like $1 million, and everybody's share was $62,000. So similar to what Kathleen won, what I would call a windfall rather than a life changer.
Yeah.
Just a good windfall.
Just a
wow,
little buffer, something that can
$62,000, and they wouldn't
fun
give him
with.
his share. Even though he'd been in it all the time,
Yeah.
he was a little bit delinquent, but they have the texts and the emails. But he said, "No, I want to be in it. I'll just get my money," but he didn't. So they're trying to hammer it in court. But when you bring up like why, even if they had cut him in, they all would have gotten 58.
Yeah. So,
So for the sake of $4,000 each, you're going to court.
yeah.
You're going to pay the lawyers, and you're dragging it out till you get your money. So that part I don't understand. I guess if you're with one person, there's 2 of you, and it's 20 million, that's a $10 million question. But over $4,000, I see what money does, right? $4,000.
Hearing that take on the story, it kind of sounds like you're right in the sense that, okay, you know what, guys, just let him have it. Mm-hmm. Like, have him pay up if he
Yeah.
owes money to the group.
Right.
Balance it out, and then give him his share. Move on. Not a big deal. But it leads me to think, okay, what else is going on? Like there's
they
got to
really
be
don't
something.
like this guy.
Yeah. He must have done something for them to go through all this trouble, because I would hate to think that they're that greedy,
Yeah.
that it makes such a difference to all of them, that $4,000 that
Per
you just,
person.
yeah.
That they'd be willing to wait
because
for.
To hear that lead up, it sounds like, well, no, to me, I paid up or not, you're part of the group. You're not getting your winnings until you pay up. But clearly, yes, you were part of this group. I know at Allen's, they had a lottery group going for anyone who wanted, and you actually had to sign how often was it? I think you paid, I'm trying to remember now, I think you paid 3 months at a time. So everybody put their lump sum in for 3 months, and you had to sign off. They had signatures and dates.
And what would you pay?
So-
$1 a week or $2 a week?
I'm trying to think what we got. It was $6.49 that they bought. So it was whatever 3 months worth
Okay.
of that.
So that's 2 draws a week, right?
So there you
it's-
go.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. Don't quote me on that.
No, that's okay.
But-
It's 26 draws. So if it's $1,
Yeah, $26 gets you through 3 months.
Right.
And then after 3 months, the sheet would make its round again, and you would pay up and sign, and it would just keep going like that. And there was
Yeah.
one person in charge, and one person went and bought the tickets and kept the forms. And because if anything should happen,
I know.
T's are crossed, I's are dot, and we can move on.
Let's say, yes, I had to fly in the ointment,
Uh-oh.
that I decide I don't want to be in the next 26 draw, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But there was a free ticket from the last one I bought, and the next one won, even though I didn't pay in.
you are putting
but
a
I
fly in
should
the
have been part,
ointment.
right? Because this is how this stuff happens.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't part of that one, but that was the free ticket I won when I was in.
Yeah, you
So
can't.
you
yeah.
owe 'em, and
I don't
after
think
a
you
while,
can do that.
No, you can't.
I don't think you can do that. I don't think
I would have a case.
No.
That I paid to be in that ticket, and that was the free one.
Yeah, but how
cashed,
do you know you paid to be on that ticket?
Because I was part of that draw, but I wasn't part of the new ticket you bought. But I was part of the ticket that won from before. It's nuts.
It does
nuts.
get well when money's involved, right?
Yep.
When it comes to anyone.
Yeah.
Say what you want, best of intentions when you start, but it can turn.
That's why I say it on the air, because if I say on the air I'm going to give you half and I don't.
But I would never hold you to that.
No, I don't know. I would do it.
Never hold you to that.
It's always an amount that it's just so crazy. Who cares? Like if it was $50,000 and I bought a $5 Lotto Max and said I'll split it with you if we win, $25 million will do me. Like, trust me.
Sorry, are we talking thousands or millions? Because you said 50,000.
Okay, no, 50 million. Well,
50
I'll
million.
do it. Sure,
25. Well, yeah, you can have just as much fun with 25 million as you can with 50. Honestly,
50,
because what do you need $50 million for?
I know. I keep going back to that when it gets up to 79. But I'm not one of these people that's like, why do they do that? Why don't they have 70 prizes of $1 million? And the answer is because then nobody would buy tickets. It's the 70 million that sells the tickets.
It's greed.
It is. It's the big. Why do you think in the United States that their mega goes to 1.2 billion? Because that's a story.
It is.
If they gave $1 million to 1,000 different people, that's not a story.
It's not a story. You're right. But I just want to clarify. I say greed, but I also think there's worry attached to that too, because you can say 50 million, and when you say 50 million, wow, like you'd never. To me, that I don't think I could ever spend that. 50 million just seems so much. But then you start breaking it down and you're thinking, okay, well, if I want to do this, or I'm going to give this to this person and give that to that person and give it to this organization, put some here. When you start to break it down, you start to think, well, maybe a bit more would be nice, because then I'd have this nest egg here and then I could help this person. It's almost like a worry. It's like, well, would that be enough?
Yeah.
And that's not good either.
I'd set up a foundation. I'd just give away the interest. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would do so we'll live on 5 million of it, which will just blow our minds, and the other 45 million in a foundation. Oh my gosh.
5 million be enough.
Yeah. Yeah, because then after that, once I got the stuff I want, it's just the interest. You're just going to live off the interest. It's just going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right. Once the dust settles and you're kind of in that spot of, okay, this is paid off. This person's looked after. I've given this money away. I have this put away.
Yep.
Now
all the charities that I like, from hospitals to the United Way to the Children's Foundation to
I can sit on the porch and play with my dog and not worry about it.
And you're all going to get your chunk of money, church. You're all going to get your chunk of money every year, and I know how much it's going to be. It's going to be the interest, and that money's going to be there.
And, now you just need to win it.
This is why I don't understand why professional athletes go broke. Because they get that kind of money. They sign a contract for $60 million, and 5 years later, they are bankrupt.
But $50 million to you and I is very different than $50 million to them. It's a lifestyle, right? They have a persona to put out, number one, but they also live in a very different world.
They got lots of parasites.
Certainly.
They have bad business decisions. And
they get caught up in it. A lot of young people, too.
Right.
It's like the NHL, too. You get caught up in it. And if the right influencers aren't there, if the right people aren't there to help, it can turn like that.
Anyway, Kathleen, what do you go?
So I'm told.
$77,000. Yeah. Such a problem. I would like to try and get. It's not like I'm not got a ticket for tomorrow's, was it 40 million in lottery? So I got a ticket.
I better get a ticket. I hold out hope. I said this to you. That's one of my fantasies, we'll say, that one day Wayne will walk through the door with a ticket in his hand and be like, guess what? Because we don't buy tickets normally. We really don't. We don't buy them regularly.
Okay.
Unless we know someone who's won, and then we'll go buy a ticket.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's always that dream of maybe one day.
Surprise, surprise. Yeah. He bought a ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'd love to be able to do that too. Just boom.
Oh, I think we all would.
Phone in rich. Sorry.
Yeah, but I would keep working.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
I just don't think that in our job, as public as we are, if we won that amount of money, you could do it. I just think you have to almost.
No, you've said that before, that you'd have to leave.
I just feel like you couldn't win $50 million and stay in a town this size. You'd have to go somewhere where you can be anonymous and do the good you want to do. But
Well, that would
Hey,
be sad then. That would be the downfall because I like doing this.
There are people in this town who are multimillionaires who haven't left, and everybody
Exactly.
knows they're wealthy. So what am I worried about?
Exactly.
I'll just go mow my lawn.
You're going to have to do it more often because people will see it now more.
Right.
They'll be
They'll be
driving
like,
by and be like, that's Philman's house? Really?
Wow, spend some money on grass seed. No, it was early dry summer. It's a Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast. Tomorrow, Jimmy Hollywood has Take Home Tuesday. We're giving away some more Picton Fair passes coming up with Galaxy of Games. And why do we need to get out into nature, Charity? Why?
Well, I will tell you tomorrow.
Why is
I might give it a
nature
try
good?
because I'm hoping to be more awake tomorrow than I am today. And not because it's Monday and not because there was something big that happened on the weekend. But getting back into the routine, sometimes it gets a little harder. So I apologize for being so groggy this morning.
Never even knew.
That's nice of you to say.
Couldn't
Yeah,
even. Or
you
that's
could
the
say it with-
biggest
you could-
insult. I couldn't even tell. Thanks.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks for that. Enjoy
Yes.
your Monday. We're back at it tomorrow morning on 95.5 Hits FM.